We're big fans of Jake. We've been come see him twice, and he's going to play at our house. Very soon, so yeah. We're a big part of the team. It's wild. It's good. I think mistake of the year. They are reimagined is the word you use. He was funny, but that's how we got going because he was fun to, he was researching and trying to figure out what his angle was going to be. We thought we should figure it out. It just took off. We did a good thing. We figured it out. They very good company. Jake's wife and daughter. Jake's wife and daughter. I'm sure we'll schedule something for ourselves. Probably. We played last night. No, it's not. She was. She was. Oh, that was good for her. I wish I leaned on him to give you that. He needs to see this.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Fayetteville Public Library. Thank you for joining us for the latest performance in our Mountain Street Stage Summer Series. Before I introduce our guest, a few quick announcements. Please silence your cell phones for the show, and don't forget to fill out a program evaluation on your way out. They're on that green cart in the back. These evaluations help us bring back your favorite artists and develop more programs like this one. Dr. Jake Hertzog is a critically acclaimed guitarist, composer, author, and educator whose career to date has spanned 11 albums as band leader across jazz, rock, and classical new music styles. He has toured around the world with a diverse array of artists, pioneering new music technology, innovating genre blends, and developing unique educational tools and methods. Without further ado, today we welcome Dr. Hertzog's latest musical trio, Jake Hertzog, Ozarks Reimagined, featuring Marco Weimer on bass and Chris Peters on drums. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hi. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out. My name is Jake Hertzog, and it is really a pleasure to be here. And once again, please welcome Marco Weimer on the bass and Chris Peters on the drums. So that was an original composition called Fools and Sages, and that's the last original composition we're going to play this afternoon. So we're going to play a show for you called Ozarks Reimagined that is a reconceptualization of traditional Ozark folk music that I researched and found predominantly through publicly available collections that we have both here at the University of Arkansas in the special collections, and institutions like the Smithsonian Museum have released and remastered and released different special collections. So over the past year, I've been fortunate enough to get the chance to research this music online. I got a chance to talk with some incredible local music experts and performers about it. I want to acknowledge thank you to Don and Kelly. Thanks for coming. And if y'all don't know their band, Still in the Hill, you got to check them out. It's incredible music. And also just through musicologists and books, and got to learn about some of this music. So we're going to share with you now a bunch of songs that are from this collection. And in each case, I've taken them and transform them a little bit using the language of contemporary jazz, and we're going to share with you what we came up with through this journey. So thank you so much for joining us. In the collection of Ozark music, there are two kinds of songs that we adapted. So the first kind is instrumental music that was played on guitars and banjos and fiddles, used for dances and so on. And the other kind is ballads and songs with lyrics and stories and words. So we're going to play a mix of those two for you. And the first one we're going to start with is just a simple fiddle tune called Dry and Dusty. And this came from the University of Arkansas collections. The original recording was actually recorded in 1951. So this is the electric guitar version. Well, thank you very much. And Chris Peters on the drums. So I brought two guitars today, and I'm going to do something that I haven't really done much since I moved to Arkansas. So I moved to Arkansas about 9 years ago from New York City, and I played a lot of jazz and rock and roll in New York City, a lot of avant-garde music. And this is my first attempt at playing some actual folk music. So I wanted to share with you all a little piece of some of the original songs that I wrote these arrangements from. So I'm just going to do a verse or two here and there of each of the ones that have some lyrics, and I hope you enjoy it. This one is called "Goodbye, My Honey, I'm Gone." So I'm gonna put the acoustic guitar on for a second. So the version of this that I referenced was collected by Merlin Mitchell in 1950, and this can be found in the Ozarks Music Special Collection at the University of Arkansas Library. So it's a wonderful digitized collection. Anybody can go online and look through. It's over 2,000 recordings. It's an absolutely incredible collection. And some very famous folklorists like Mary Parler, the ethnomusicologist, and Max Hunter, the song collector / refrigerator salesman, contributed to this collection. But a lot of other folks as well, and the library's done a great job of collecting these. So I'm going to share with you just the melody of this, so that when we play the electric version, you'll recognize it. And I should preface this by saying, I sing like all jazz guitarists when I sing. Oh, what you gonna do when the great day comes? Sounding of the horns and beating of the drums. No use in me a-grieving, I'm gonna be a-leaving. Goodbye, my honey, I'm gone. I had a little girl, her name was Isabella. Every time I tried to kiss her, she hit me on the smeller. I couldn't stand it any longer. She couldn't give it any stronger. Goodbye, my honey, I'm gone. Goodbye, my honey, I'm gone. And this is the chorus. Goodbye, my honey, I'm gone. So that's the part to remember when we play the electric version. So this was inspired by the great guitarist Pat Metheny and his concept on the album called Bright Size Life. Thank you, everyone. Chris Peters on the drum set there. So the next song we're going to play for you is simply titled The Spanish Song. And this is a song that was one of the few recordings where guitar is the featured instrument on the original recording, as opposed to violin or banjo. And this was played on an acoustic guitar from the Smithsonian collections of Ozark music. And in that time, in the 1800s and early 1900s, the idea of Spanish music was very much drawn from the Iberian Peninsula and flamenco music. So the influence of flamenco music was pretty profound in that time. And a lot of the guitar techniques that were played were sort of flamenco guitar techniques, like and so the original recording of this is fairly short. It's fairly simple. And the guitar player basically plays this kind of a thing. And I'm not kidding when I say that is the entire song. And so the recording is the guitar player and then violinist and banjo and I think another guitar in there kind of playing that over and over again. So what we've done with it is double down on the Spanish and North African influence and put together a sort of Berber tribe ballady groove that sounds like this. Dun, 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 dun. And the other thing we employed was a classical music trick where in Baroque music they often switched between major and minor. And so you'd find a minor sound in the beginning of the song, but then what we call in classical music the Picardy third, switching to major at the end. So this is called Spanish Song, but adapted via Bach, North Africa, and a little bit Jimi Hendrix. I hope you like it. Chris Peters, everyone. That's my daughter there in the front row. So I have to share something, which is that I was lucky enough to have Chris Peters record these arrangements with me, and we did another long recording project together last year. This is our last show together. The great Chris Peters is going to achieve his doctorate at a university out of our state. Give it up for Chris Peters. Incredible drummer, musician. And if you haven't had another chance to see him perform while he's been in town, drink it up. So on that subject of not weeping, the first few lyrics of this song are "Do not weep," and the next song I'm going to play for you is a song called "Sweet Lady Jane," and the recording that I first got attracted to comes from Max Hunter's collection of recordings. So Max Hunter. Raise your hand in this room. Anybody know who Max Hunter is? Yeah, I know a few people do. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Max Hunter has got to be one of the most interesting people in the world, or I guess it was. And the reason I say that is because he was essentially a traveling salesman professionally, but he traveled around Missouri and Arkansas and other kind of Midwestern territories and Southern territories and collected folk songs and recorded them, learned them, and then recorded his own versions. And I think the number is somewhere around 1,200 songs that he did in his work. And that's just a staggering number in so many ways. And his music has been reissued and archived and recorded and remastered and so on for quite a long time. But there's a wonderful Smithsonian Museum collection. There's a whole collection called Ozark Folkways, Smithsonian Folkways. But then there's a particularly excellent reissue of some of Max Hunter's songs. It's like a nice remaster and so on that came out fairly recently, which is one of the things that I first got interested in this music from. And so he does a song called Sweet Lady Jane. And this song has definitely been on a journey because the lyrics are about a young man who falls in love but can't afford to get married. So he goes all the way to Australia, mines for gold. 16 verses later, he gets some gold, and he comes back and he marries the love of his life, which is a rare happy ending for this era of a song, I must say. So I just want to give you a sense of the melody, and it goes like this. Max Hunter liked to do everything in 3/4, or at least a lot of songs in 3/4. Oh, do not weep, sweet lovely Jane. Come dry your tearful eyes. I will return to you again, unless your true love dies. She wet my lips with flowing tears, and then I kissed her hand. Farewell, farewell, sweet Lady Jane. I must leave for a far-off land. And this goes on for many, many, many verses. So I highly recommend you check out the original song, but that's the melody. And we did what most jazz musicians do when they encounter a song with 3 chords, which is we put 16 other chords into the same song. So we hope you like this version. This is Sweet Lady Jane. And we're going to feature an incredible young musician, Marco Weimer, on bass on this song. Thank you, Michael Weimer on the bass. Okay, so the next song we're going to play for you. How's everybody feeling, by the way? Not bad for a Sunday afternoon. All right. So this one is one of my absolute favorites of all the many hundreds of recordings I was privileged to listen to in part of this project. And it's called, "Oh, Miss, I Have a Very Fine Farm." And the lyrics to this song are made for reality television. They essentially can be summarized as a duet between a man and a woman, and the man says, "Please marry me," and she says, "No, thank you," but in much more colorful language. And it goes back and forth for at least 6 or 7 verses each in the version that I listen to, and I'm told there are many more verses out there that go into all sorts of storylines for this song. I want to give you a bit of a taste of how this song goes in the melody, and just know that it's a duet, so I'm gonna sing both parts. But usually this is a duet. Now, Max Hunter liked everything in 3/4, but I think there are 4/4 versions of this song. I have a very fine farm, just 60 acres square, and it will be at your command if you will only dwell there, if you will only dwell there. And then she says, "Oh, sir, I know your very fine farm and also very fine fruit. But you come in and I'll go out, and you know a hog will root, you know a hog will root." And then he says, "Oh, miss, I have a very fine house and also a very fine yard, and it will be at your command if you will only dwell there, only dwell there." And then she says, "Oh, sir, I know your very fine house and also very fine yard, but who will stay with me at night when you are throwing cards, when you are throwing cards?" And it just keeps going and going and going like that until they exchange some insults, and that's the end of the relationship. So we're going to play you our jazz version now, where in lieu of colorful language, we've inserted a few, what we call in jazz, arrangers' choruses. So a few little tricks for us to play, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, everybody, so much. So now we're going to play a song for you that does not have lyrics, or did not have lyrics. This is called Daisies in the Loft in the original title. And this is originally played as like a dance kind of fiddle song. And I want to give you a sense of the original way the melody was phrased, which is, again, kind of back to that 3/4 dance kind of rhythm. And in the original, it goes like this. That's basically the whole song. So what we decided to do with this one was slow it down a little bit and import a rhythm originally from Colombia called a chicarera, which is kind of a 3/4. So you hear that a little bit on this one. And this is such a beautiful melody to me that we decided not to change any of the chords at all until the end. So I hope you like it. This is called Daisies in the Loft. Chris Peters on the drums, Marco Weimer on bass. So our next song is going to be another different kind of journey. And I think this song illustrates some of the inherent journey that Ozark-related folk music has gone through historically. So music coming from the British Isles, from Ireland, and then another reincarnation of music influenced by the eastern seaboard of the United States, Appalachia, and that kind of area. And then another iteration of that music influenced by this area, the Ozarks, the Midwest, the Great Plains, the South, and so on. And so this song is called Blue Ridge Mountains. And Max Hunter found a version of this, sang this song. This was initially kind of, we think anyway, coming from a musician who traveled in the Oklahoma region in the 1870s and brought this song with him. And then Max recorded this in 1959. So there's almost 100 years right there from the what we think is the original version to the Max Hunter version. And then 1959 is a little bit before my birthday, so now it's 2025. And we're going to do a completely different version for you. And this is another one of those melodies where I think the melody is so compelling that we just wanted to repeat it over and over and over again. And so I want to share with you a little bit of how this melody goes. And this is another song with many, many verses, but it has a theme of traveling and being alone. Where was I last winter, boys, when wind was cold and snow? Oh, where was I last winter, boys, when the wind blowed frosty and cold? I was climbing the Blue Ridge Mountains, was hungry and nigh I froze. I've been all around the world. And because this melody is so compelling, we took inspiration from the famous Miles Davis song Nefertiti. And Nefertiti was really innovative at its time because instead of playing a melody and improvising on that melody, Miles just played the melody over and over and over again and let the band improvise around him playing the melody. So we're going to play it for you like that. I hope you like it. Thank you, Blue Ridge Mountains. Chris and Marco, give it up. So I'm going to tell you a true story now. When I first started my journey in music school, I was lucky to go to the Berklee College of Music in Boston. And among other things, there are a lot of students there, so there's a lot of different kinds of ensembles that students can play in. And my very first semester, I walked in, and they said, okay, you're going to be in an ensemble that does music by the Meters, which is a famous funk group, like the progenitor original funk group that so many other funk and rock groups were influenced by, including a lot of great Motown acts and soul acts and rock acts and so on. And they're very famous for songs like Sissy Strut. And songs like that are sort of instrumental hit classics. And we're going to play a song for you now that's an old fiddle tune called Darling Nellie Gray. And this song goes like this. And it's sort of it's supposed to be in 4/4. But the original recordings, the musicians did not record it in 4/4. I think they added beats and added measures and so on in the 1950s. They just like, whatever the dancers were doing, that's how they would play it. And so when I first heard this, my immediate thought was, let's do this like the Meters. So I hope you like it. This is Darling Nellie Gray, all of the Meters. And we've added a few extra beats to honor the original performers. Thank you so much, everybody. Once again, Marco and Chris, give it up. So we're going to play a song for you now that the original was definitely not really about Arkansas because the title is Down by the Seashore. And as much as I love all the lakes here, I think it was not that. And this one came to Max Hunter by way of a recording that he made in 1958. And the song is originally, we think anyway, hails from the British Isles, and it's about a man who essentially falls in love with a mermaid, and they cannot be together, but his love is down by the seashore. And this is another one of those, I think, absolutely enchanting melodies that I want to share. I want to share with you, and it goes like this. As I walked out one evening, all on the seashore, where the wind it did whistle, and the waters did roar, I saw a fair maiden as I walked on my way. And I stopped there to listen to the words she did say. Cry on, my love, sure gone. He's the lad that I adore. He's gone where I never see him anymore. And that's the chorus. He's gone where I never will see him anymore. And as the balladeers were prone to do, the verses sort of happen whenever they feel like it. And not in a sort of 4-bar phrase, 8-bar phrase, something that we in classical music would say, oh, here's the beginning. And so in order to reflect that, we've added a few extra beats and tricks in this next arrangement. But we hope you like it. This is called Down by the Seashore. Thank you so much, everyone. How's everybody doing? Give it up one more time for Marco Weimer on the bass and Chris Peters here on the drum set. So we have one more song for you. Thank you so much for being here and spending your afternoon with us. Last in our journey of Ozark music turned into jazz somehow is another instrumental song called Down Yonder. And this is a fiddle dance tune that we decided the most fitting thing would be to also keep it a fast, up-tempo dance tune, but a la something like what maybe Charlie Parker or the bebop musicians would have done with it. So I want to play a little tiny hint of the melody for you. And here's my secret pedal here. It makes every note like 3 minutes long, so it doesn't work very well for fast tempo songs. And the melody goes like this. That's sort of the vibe of the melody. And so a jazz musician like me hears that and goes, oh, ding, 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 ding. This is going to work great. So now you'll hear us play that melody with a fast swing feel. And since this is our last song and my last chance to perform with the wonderful Chris Peters, we're going to give him a big solo. Chris, thank you for all the music, brother. And we hope you like it. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. There's a few people we got to thank here. Dave Embry on sound. Thank you, Dave. And we want to thank Nicole at the Public Library. Thank you so much for having us, Nicole. And, of course, the Fayetteville Public Library. Keep coming here and supporting amazing music, art, books, film, etc. Thank you for all you do. the bass. Chris Peters on the drums. My name's Jake Hertzog. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Public Library. teach at U of A, so come and find us. Thanks, friends.
Thank you again for joining us all today at the Fayetteville Public Library. Please remember on your way out, if you have a second, fill out a program evaluation form on that green card in the back. It helps us bring back amazing artists like this. This is the first standing ovation that I've seen for a Mountain Street Stage series, so congratulations. And for those of you who are listening on the live stream, our program evaluation is available on our website under events. Thank you and have a great day.